Hey, this is episode 20 of Harvesting Infinity, and that was my experiment of taking a song written by Django Reinhardt more than 75 years ago called Minor Swing, which is a gypsy jazz tune, and seeing what would happen if I brought up a funk drummer that was playing at 65 beats per minute. And yeah, it's kind of a stretch between genres, but it's still sustainable, it works. So the topic of this segment, which is 20.1, is why unsustainable systems collapse. And not to be negative, but I think the US government is going to collapse. And here's why. Because when people don't collaborate and they don't accept feedback, and they don't really actually care about being sustainable, then things tend to collapse. And there are three gigantic forces impinging upon our population right now, which I don't think our administration can deal with. One, well, people can communicate pretty much instantly anywhere on the planet for free. When the Constitution was written, Thomas Jefferson had to ride his horse from like Virginia to Maine, up and back. It took months and months and months to get anything to happen. But now, if somebody wants to say something, they can say it and it could be heard around the world instantaneously. I don't think our current political process nor administration can actually cope with that instantaneousness of communication, except to try to manipulate, which is what they try to do, but it's not going to work. It's going to collapse. Second gigantic thing that's happening is climate change. Climate change is not something that's kind of coming. It's here. Water levels are rising. Temperatures are rising. And we're having large responses to these things. Like people are dying in Texas and in the South, in other states too. So climate change and the speed of communication are two really, really big things. And the third one, which is maybe bigger than both of them, is AI. So here's what's going on with AI. When electricity got discovered, it probably took, 50 years to become widespread. And when the car got discovered, maybe 30 years. And when the digital phone, smartphone, maybe 10 years. Well, guess what? AI is moving so fast that nobody ever heard of a large language model 4 or 5 years ago. In the last 3 years, actually 2.5, ChatGPT and Anthropic and a few followers have started to happen. Nothing ever before in the history of the human race has ever propagated this quickly. In months, every industry has been affected. The economy has been affected. Politics have been affected. Musicians are using AI. Some are complaining that AI is stealing their jobs and suing it, or trying to, and some are using AI to create music. Now, what I was just playing was not an AI thing. Not really. I was actually, playing the keyboard. But the drummer, you don't see any drummer here, do you? It's hard to get drummers to show up for a gig where they only play for 3 minutes and then do nothing and twiddle their thumbs. So I basically programmed up 128 measures of some kind of a funky reggae-ish thing, and I didn't listen to it. And then I just hit play, and as it's playing back, I'm listening to it as though it's a drummer for the first time. Am I collaborating with AI? Not really. It's just a recording of a drummer, except it's a recording of a drummer that never really existed. I just talked about the genre I wanted and how many measures I wanted, and I maxed out the randomization and humanization so it wouldn't do anything predictable. Back to the unsustainable systems collapsing. The whole music thing, well, a 17-piece jazz band, that's not very sustainable. No gigs can afford to play 17 people. Even symphony orchestras, which have 80 or 100 people. Well, the Boston Symphony, one of the best symphonies in the world, still has to bring in all sorts of pop acts to pay the bills. They got rent to pay. They got salaries to meet. So they bring in people like Van Morrison. Really? Van Morrison? They're playing Moondance to support the Boston Symphony? Well, they are. Bonnie Raitt, a lot of local, super talented people, and a lot of not so local. And okay, so it's not sustainable to have a business model where music costs more to pay all the people than it's worth. This is why I'm using a fake drummer, an artificial drummer. I don't know what it is, but it's fun. So I like using it. I got to say one more thing instead of playing it out. The current life of musicians is not sustainable. Musicians get paid $50 or $100 for playing for an hour or 4 hours, and I was making that 50 years ago. 50. So it's an unsustainable system. Something has to change. My attempt to change something is creating a fake drummer. And that's no harm, no foul thing. But the administration, that's another story. So that's episode 20.1.